because you hear the echo and everything, I'm recording right now, and I won't post this unless you're cool with it, so don't worry about that. Okay, we're referring back here to K. Neal's. Remember K. Neal's video he just made just a little while ago? Let me get the title of it. Taxes, Zodiac, Magnetic North, PVC.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we're scrolling down to your comment here, and I have a question for you. We're going to see here now because I know your Navy Thomas on the porch is probably going to be knocking out the TDD report very shortly, so I want to make sure you're up to it. So I've got a question. It says, I've known about magnetic north since my days in the Navy. We had to adjust charts and compasses all the time, so it's normal. 1967, I was in first grade then. Now I remember in fourth grade, I think it was, where the teacher taught about magnetism, you know, and north and south poles, and a compass has a north and a south pole. So I was going to ask you a question. Now, when you're taught a north pole deflects a north pole and it's attracted towards the south pole, so how come a compass, the north pole points towards the north pole? That doesn't make any sense. Shouldn't it point away from the North Pole? Because when you point a North Pole magnet to another North Pole magnet, it deflects it and points it away.
Right. So they use a well, when you think about magnetism, you got a positive and a negative.
Mm-hmm.
So if magnetic north is positive, then you put the magnetic opposite at the, say, end of the needle.
Yeah.
That way it's drawn towards the north.
So then the needle of the compass is actually south, even though it's marked north, it's south, and pointing towards the North Pole.
No, you got to turn the magnet around.
Okay, so which is wrong then? If the North Pole never points towards the North Pole because magnets repel each other and the North always points towards the South, which is the real South Pole, the compass north or the North Pole?
The North Pole is not magnetic north.
Dang, I thought I could fool you. I already knew the answer to that and I thought I could fool you. Okay, folks, he's up to his stuff. My gosh. Couldn't fool the guy. You can't fool the old Navy guy.
And the chart adjustments that I was talking about is called deviation.
Yeah, or declination, too, is another term for it.
Yeah, and it comes out, if you have a chart, not a road map or anything like that, you actually have to have a chart.
Yeah. And
it will give you, down below in the right-hand corner, there is a deviation. There's a deviation, and they have to come out with a new chart every so many years that has a deviation, and then you look up what the actual deviation is in a handbook, and they've got it projected out for like 100 years.
Yeah, and actually at present, in where we live, you and I live in the central part of the Midwest, the 0 point actually cuts through Wisconsin and divides it in half, and cuts through Illinois and divides it in half. So if you're towards the center of either of those two states, you're pretty much where north points is where north really is. And then if you're west of that, you've got to compensate, and if you're east of that, you've got to compensate. So fortunately, those of us in the central Midwest, magnetic north is pretty close to true north right now.